Hello and welcome. I am a hotel AI expert with extensive experience in modern hospitality operations and performance support. I am pleased to welcome all students of Europe Hotel School to your online learning journey. We look forward to supporting your professional growth in the hospitality industry. Now, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're zeroing in on honestly one of the absolutely most critical skills any true hotelier can possess, and that is front office service recovery. Look, luxury hotels are incredibly complex, fast-paced environments. Things are going to go wrong, but how you handle those specific moments when they do, that is exactly what defines your professional caliber.
So, here is our quick agenda for today. We'll start with understanding guest complaints, then we'll look at the psychology of the guest, move on to mastering the LEARN model, and finally, finish up with staff empowerment and strategy.
All right, before we get into the operational tactics, we actually need to hit the pause button and fundamentally reframe our mindset. A guest complaint is not a personal attack. It's really not a sign of failure either. It's actually a golden opportunity. Think about it. When a guest takes their valuable time to speak up and tell you they're unhappy, they're literally handing the hotel a second chance. They could just walk out the door and take their business elsewhere, right? Learning to view complaints through this totally different lens is your very first step toward true service recovery excellence.
Okay. Moving into Section 1, Understanding Guest Complaints. Let's break down the true nature of the friction you're inevitably going to face at the front desk. To handle a complaint like a pro, you really have to know exactly what kind of issue you're dealing with, and they generally fall into three distinct buckets. First up is product failure. These are the objective, tangible things, like a room that just wasn't cleaned to standard, a busted AC unit, or a broken TV. These are usually pretty easy to spot and fix. Second, we have system failure. This is the operational machinery of the hotel, and man, this can be deeply frustrating for a guest. Think about things like super long wait times at check-in, a breakfast order that vanished into thin air, or a really stubborn billing error. And finally, staff attitude. This one is the most sensitive for sure. When a guest feels an employee was dismissive or rude, the complaint shifts from being just a functional problem to a highly emotional one.
And that brings us to the core definition of any complaint, no matter where it started. A complaint is simply the friction that happens in the gap between a traveler's mental expectation, which, is often fueled by beautiful marketing and a premium price tag, and the actual on-the-ground reality of the stay they're experiencing. A highly skilled manager gets that the guest is usually just complaining about one specific moment or service, not the entire property. By isolating that gap, you can totally prevent a single bad moment from ruining their whole trip.
Let's move on to Section 2, the psychology of the guest. We need to analyze the mental and emotional state of that traveler standing right across from you.
Picture it. A guest is marching up to your desk. They are usually in a state of heightened emotional arousal. Maybe they're completely exhausted from travel, stressed out by back-to-back meetings, or just deeply bummed out that their expensive vacation hit a roadblock. At that exact moment, you might think they want a financial discount or a free drink, but their primary psychological need is actually recognition. They need genuine validation that their feelings matter and that the hotel truly cares about their well-being. Because they are in this heightened state, the absolute golden rule of the front desk is never argue, never get defensive. If you engage in an emotional confrontation, it is a battle the hotel is going to lose 100% of the time. It doesn't even matter who is technically right. Instead, just maintain a calm, acknowledging posture. That instantly drops the guest's emotional temperature. You're effectively moving the whole interaction away from this unwinnable battle and turning it into a calm, productive collaboration.
So, how do we operationalize this? Let's dive into Section 3, Mastering the LEARN model. This is the structured framework we use to ensure flawless consistency under pressure.
The LEARN model is a simple 5-step path. Listen, empathize, apologize, resolve, and notify. Memorizing these steps guarantees that even when things get super heated, absolutely no critical emotional or operational requirement is missed by you or your team. Let's break them down quickly. Right, so the first two steps, listen and empathize. The most crucial thing here is providing your full, undivided attention. Honestly, listening is where most service recoveries just fall flat. You've got to maintain eye contact, nod, and completely suppress any urge you have to interrupt with an excuse. Letting the guest vent their entire story acts like a pressure valve. It gives them a necessary emotional release. Often, just the simple act of truly being heard solves half the problem. Then you empathize. Now, empathy doesn't mean agreeing that your hotel is terrible.
It's using verbal cues like, "I can certainly understand why that will be so frustrating," to validate that what they're feeling is entirely legitimate.
Next up is A for apologize. As the situation de-escalates, you have to deliver a sincere apology. You must avoid the absolute trap of the non-apology. You know the one, "I'm sorry you feel that way." Don't do it. It literally just inflames the situation. A true professional looks them in the eye and says, "I am very sorry that we let you down today." That doesn't admit legal guilt, it just powerfully acknowledges that their experience missed the high standards of your brand.
The final steps are resolve and notify. Once you've cleared the emotional air, it's time for action. Immediate action. If the room is dirty, move them. If the bill is wrong, fix it on the spot. And if you can, exceed their expectations with a recovery amenity, maybe a room upgrade or a quick voucher for the bar. But wait, the process does not end when they walk away from the desk. You must notify the relevant department so the mistake doesn't happen again. And here's the real pro move, the follow-up. A quick call the next morning just asking, "Hey, is everything better now?" provides complete closure and proves you actually care.
Finally, let's wrap things up with Section 4, Staff Empowerment and Strategy. This is how high-performing managers turn these individual interactions into a bulletproof operation. A true leader treats every single complaint as a vital piece of data. The strategy here is recording every incident in a central log so you can analyze patterns. Like, if you suddenly see 3 complaints in a week about slow elevators, you instantly know maintenance schedules need adjusting. Or if multiple guests complain about a specific receptionist's tone, well, you've just pinpointed a very precise training gap. By using data like this, your management team shifts the whole front office culture from just reactively putting out fires all day to proactive, systemic quality control. And that strategic approach leads us to a truly fascinating academic concept in hospitality known as the service recovery paradox. Basically, this is a phenomenon where a successfully handled complaint actually creates a higher level of guest loyalty than a stay where absolutely nothing went wrong. It's wild, but it's true. When a traveler sees a hotel team working incredibly hard just to fix a mistake, it builds this deep level of emotional attachment and trust. They feel cared for on a much more profound level.
But to pull off this paradox consistently, we have to eliminate operational bottlenecks. We have to move far away from the reactive employee who always has to say, let me go ask my manager. That delay? It just spikes the guest's frustration all over again. Modern front office management requires an empowered true hotelier. That means giving your front desk agents the actual authority and the budget to resolve small issues instantly, whether that's wiping a breakfast charge or authorizing an upgrade. When staff are empowered, they act with serious confidence, and the guest immediately feels like they're in the hands of a highly competent professional. Ultimately, protecting the hotel's reputation takes composure, empathy, and a deep culture of empowerment. I want to leave you with this final thought as you continue your studies. Silence is not always a sign of success. Sometimes a quiet lobby just means unhappy guests are leaving without giving you the chance to fix things. So I ask you, as future leaders in luxury hospitality, how will you embrace this feedback and use the guests who are brave enough to speak up to help your team become the absolute best version of themselves? Thank you so much for your focus today, and I wish you exceptional success in your hospitality careers.